Esmeric Art Studio. Today's project is covering a notebook with metal tape. So this is the notebook that we will be covering, and we are going to use plain metal tape from the hardware store. And you know, metal tape is becoming more and more popular. It's an easy way to do a lot of things with. It's a lot more cost effective than what it is to work with pewter. So the main thing is, once we start, we are going to add some embellishments onto the notebook, and then we're just going to cover it with the metal tape. So what kind of embellishments can we use? We can use paper cutouts that you can have, like clip art. There is I keep all these little things when I cut out stencils, so you can use this is the Mylar, the same as the stencils. You can use that. You can use these wood embellishments that you get, and sometimes you can even find them at the dollar store or your discount store. You can put that underneath. These metal embellishments that you can buy anywhere, you can put that underneath. And some bling. Again, you know, this is things that once it's been covered with the metal tape, you're not even going to see the color. So if you have items or embellishments that is a color that you're thinking, oh, you know what, where am I going to use this? This is the place where you can use them, because nobody's going to notice the color underneath. Oh, one more thing. You can also use, you know, it's also adhesive backing. It is when you do drywall, you can add this underneath as well. This is also very nice to work with to give it texture. Basically anything that is going to give it texture. The possibilities are endless, like I said. So let's start. Things we will be using in today's project this is some bling mesh that I got from somewhere, I can't even remember. And what I've done is I have cut down 2 strands of that, and I've laid that out at the bottom. This is some felt lace. I'm going to add a piece of that, and then I have a whole bottle full of flowers. Oops. Some of them is fabric, some of them is paper. I have a couple of them, and of course the lid is also metal tape. So I've just covered one of these flowers with the metal tape. So I've chosen 3 flowers. I'm going to go fairly basic on this and with this book. And then also I have this little bling that I'm just going to, once I've adhered my flowers, I'm just going to add them to the centers. So once you are this far and you've decided how you would like your layout to be, you're going to use glue, and you can just use ordinary glue stick. If you have spare things like some of the double-sided tape, sometimes I use that as well. I would just put it over my journal or the cover or even a towel, depending on what I'm working with. So I would just put that on, and just to adhere these embellishments to, so that they can stay put and not move around once we start with that. So I'm going to start and just quickly glue these down. Step is to cut the metal tape, and it's always good to have a couple of pieces pre-cut. So I've already pre-cut a couple. I'm still going to cut some more, but have a few different shapes. So I have these long or bigger rectangles. I have more or less squares. I have a smaller rectangle, even smaller or thinner ones. And I have a couple of triangles. So, you know, with the triangles, you cut your square and you just cut it in half. For the back of the notebook, I would just like to add long strips. I do not want to have a lot of detail there. So I've measured the first one, and now I'm just going to cut the next free. And I think I'm going to start doing the back, then I know I don't have to worry about that anymore. It is done and it is over with. So as I said, just cut some of the strips, and I know it's enough. So when you do measure these, make sure that you have enough to fold over to the inside. You can of course always leave a border around if you really like this, but my whole idea is to get rid of all of these. What I am going to do, I'm not going to put metal tape onto the sides, so I'm going to just add, once we do the blackening, I'm just going to use the pen and I am going to blacken those ones up there. Let me just cut a couple of more. Again, as I said, just go randomly and just cut it in triangles. And this one, I'll do another square. And I think I'll keep that one like that. It's really just about playing and cutting a few, and it's never a waste. So even if you have some left in the end, you can still use it on another project or for even small little things. So let's get sticking. If you work with metal tape, just to, I don't know, wire it, go like this, and then it fairly comes loose and you can just remove it like that. And you are just going to stick this down. I'm going to leave enough so that I can fold it to the inside as well. That's the nice thing when you do stick these things down, the metal tape. You know what? All those little creases and things that it makes, it is going to add to your design. And so I'm just going to cut that away there. And I'm just going to put it back on there because I can always use those little pieces again. And I'm going to cut this one away as well. And I'll just stick it to there. It might come in handy later on. And fold this over. And this is just like almost covering a book, or do give some gift wrapping. And fold over, and fold over. And if you really want to, you can just give it a go over with your paper stump. Most important with this is, as you can, oh, that just came loose. As you can see, it makes some air bubbles, and that is just about, you know, how you are putting the tape down. That is not a train smash. If you want to, you can just go in and you can just pop that little bubble and close it up again. And the nice thing as well is you can, like there, I've gone a little bit overboard. But what you can do is you can just add another piece of tape over there, although I still wanted this to be fairly sort of smooth in the back. I think I might just add a couple of more pieces of tape around here. You can also, you know, really start working, when you put your tape down, really work it out so that you don't have air bubbles. I'm actually glad that this one does have the air bubbles, because then I can share how to get rid of it. Because sometimes, of course, we will get no air bubbles. So I'm quickly going to continue on and finish the back of my journal. grabbed one of my punches. It's a little flower punch, and I thought I'll punch out a couple of these flowers, and then I can put them on the little air bubbles that I had. And so that's one way of covering it up. It's just, oh my gosh, even if you do that, sometimes it's really difficult to get it, especially on the smaller ones. Okay. So there's flowers on the front, and now we're just going to have little flowers on the back too. I'm not going to cover up all the air bubbles because I think I might add some texture with either a pen or we'll see. But this is like really, if you can see, it is really going in nicely. It's not standing out, but it is there. It is subtle. So I think I'm going to do a couple more and maybe do it all over the place. Now that I've seen it, I think I really like this. So I finished all the little flowers, and as you can see, it was just here and there that I've put some down, and this little bling just keeps on falling off. So I grabbed some of my Sukwang tape that I have here. This is all offcut, so I'm just going to add a piece here and then use that to stick it down, because I don't want to start working with it and then it starts moving around. And that's a nice thing when you work and you have a little mishap. I won't really call it an accident, a little mishap that happened at the back with the air bubbles, is think about it as an opportunity, you know what, just to add to your design. Don't think of it as a disaster. So there you go. So now this is ready, and now we're going to start adhering the metal tape to this. So one thing I have not mentioned when I was working on the back is when you put your tape down, you have to make sure that it overlaps. So we're just going to go like this, and we are going to put it down. Don't worry about getting into all the little nooks and everything that we're going to do once we are going to start using our paper stump. The main part that you have to focus on now is that wherever you put your tape down, it needs to overlap. And random. Don't really think about this too much, because once you start thinking and planning, you are going to drive yourself nuts. Well, I think so, because that's what usually happens. So just keep on putting them down, and you will see once we're going to start working this in, this is how it is going to look. So imagine when we didn't adhere this or put this down with some glue or something, it will move around all the way while we are working. But we'll get back to this step in a minute or two. Again, very important that wherever you put it down randomly, it has to overlap. And as well, you don't necessarily have to start from one point and then fill it up. You can go in and add another piece over here. Mostly what you have to keep in mind is if you do want to cover the the opposite side, I would absolutely suggest to keep enough there that you can fold over to the inside. So just make sure that you have enough there, and put that down. has been covered, the next step is to go in with your paper stump and start from one side. I think it's best to start in the center, but that's me. I mean, it is usually what is going to be working best for you. And then just start and really get in there and pressing it down. You can also start from the bottom, working your way up to the top, or from the top, working your way down to the bottom. Main thing is just like what happened there, be careful when you get to a place where the tape is overlapping that you don't roll the tape actually up. So try and get in between all those things to really get the tape down. And chances that you are going to break through the tape or tear the tape, it's really good. But when that happens, it doesn't matter. You always have extra small little pieces that is left. So I didn't use all of these, or some pieces I've cut off. And you can always use that just to sort of patch it up. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and just finish this all over with my paper stump, and really trying to get in as close as what I can. I've gone all over with the paper stump, and I have to say this felt lace did not work as well as what I expected. Maybe once I start going over with the little burnishing tool or the stylus, it might look a little bit better, but I don't think I will use it again underneath the metal tape. So there is a couple of places that I broke through, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a piece of tape, and I'm just going to work it in there, and it's all fixed. So it really doesn't matter. This one I'm not really going to be worried about because it's not as big as what that one was, and it will cover up with the black. But just for this exercise, let's just go ahead and let's just cover that one up too. So yeah, again, you know, especially once we're going to come in with your little burnishing tool or your stylus, you might find that when you're going to go in deeper and pushing it up against your design or your embellishment, that you might find that you break through quite often. So just keep some handy there and do that. Oh, one thing I want to mention is when I was working or adding the tape over on this side, you saw me coming in and cutting some of this blue turquoise felt lace off, and the reason for that was just I've cut it slightly too long, and I wanted an even line, more or less an even line over here. And so to be able to get that, I just had to cut a piece away. And that's the thing, you know, when you work with your project, you can change it. It's not to say because you have planned this and this and this and this and this, that is exactly what you need to do. Let it evolve as you are working. So next step, I'm going to start with the stylus, and I am really just going to go and push all of these in. And so make some of the petals here. Just follow the line. What works well as well is if you you can actually use a pen too. A pen works as well. And you can add so much detail at this point. We all know how the flowers, the petals look, so you can go in and you can scratch in there, and that goes the same for basically your whole project. Just go in there and make it a round little circle. It is your choice whether you want to leave the background as is, or something that you can do is you can, for instance, still again use this and you can just add some detail, you know, on each and every joint that is there. If you don't want to do that, you can fill in some of the squares or some of the triangles with some scratch marks. It's your project. You can really go crazy on this, or you can stay minimalist and just keep it like that, because once we are finished working with our stylus, we are going to go in and then we are going to use the water-based black marker to add some blackening to this. So I'm going to continue on and I'm going to finish going in with my little stylus until I am done. This is how we learn. I've gone over with the little stylus and I have gone into all the little nookies and crannies that I've seen to the best of what I can see. Yeah, lesson learned. I don't think I will ever use this again, and I think the reason is the metal tape doesn't really adhere to the felt, so that might be a reason. Plus I think it's a little bit too thick for this, but it's on here now. It doesn't look bad. It just gives some texture, not the design that I was hoping for. But yeah, we learn something new every day. I didn't add any details to the rest of these, only to these ones, and just because I have gone in when I was talking about it, you know how you can add this. So I just did 2 on the sides and then I filled that in with that. The back, it's still just plain. I'm going to leave it like that, just with the little flowers on, and just for, you know, to make it coherent, I took 2 of these little flowers and I've just stuck them down. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add our water-based black marker, and then from there we're going to rub it all off again. Okay, so again for the blackening, you're going to use a water-based permanent marker. It needs to be water-based. If it is a solvent marker, you're not going to get rid of the black. At least with the water-based marker, you can wipe off the excess. And I have some paper towel that I'm using. I reuse my paper towel until they can't anymore. So we're just going to start from one side and we are going to color this in. Make sure that when you do color it in, that it really goes into the indents that you've made, or the markings that you have made with your stylus, because that is what it's going to be really nice. I think my pen is busy drying up, but let's give it a go and see how far we can get with this. I'm going to do the top half first, and then once I have taken the blackening off there, I will do the bottom part. Of course, you can do everything in one go. You don't have to use paper towel either. You can let it dry, and then what you can use is a little sanding block, and you can just sand the black away as well. But I sort of really like the look like this because I want to have some black, but I don't want too much black. Usually when you work with blackening and you remove it, you try and work in one direction. But for this one, I'm just going to work in different directions. And again, you know, it is preference. You can leave way more black if you want to. So there you can see where there's a lot of detail. There is definitely more black than what there is not a lot of detail. But then again, even if I go in and I wipe fairly hard there, you will see there is still more detail there than what is on the opposite side. If that is what you like, you can always just go back in and you can add some detail, come in back with your black marker and fill it up, give it a couple of seconds, and then you can just go in and you can remove it again. So this is the nice thing, if you feel like you have removed too much, just add some more and go in. So you can pretty much control the amount of black that you want to leave on your project. If you just want to keep the background with almost no black, you can do that as well. Again, it is absolutely preference, personal preference. So I think I'm going to just cover this, and I'm going to try and get it into those little hollows. Now these looks like little bling, but they're actually little empty little hollow bling shells, whatever you want to call them. So I think I'm going to do that. And then once I'm done with that, I'll just finish the last part. And now over this felt lace that didn't really want to, well, that was a little bit of a disappointment for me, but now I know I just won't use it again on or under metal tape. I actually used it when I was spraying something. I sprayed in my journal with some mist, and I used that to go through, and actually gave a very nice pattern for the mist, or design for the mist. So that's why I thought, oh nice, I'm going to use it underneath the metal tape. But yeah, some things is really good for certain things, and then you have, nope, it's not working that well for other things. Okay, so I think this is covered pretty much all of it. And again you can leave this for a while, and the longer you leave it on, the more black you are going to get. If you don't want a lot of black, again, you can just come in, leave it on for a couple of seconds, and then go, oh, actually this really gives a nice blackening effect. If you look there in between all the as I was pushing it down, oh, this actually looks really nice. Oh, I might just decide to use it again, because it picks up the details in between, which is nice. Almost looks like, I don't know, lava, how to explain it. I don't know, but now I like it. Okay, I retract my words. I think I will use it again. Because when it was before the blackening, I didn't really care for it. But I really like how it picks up. If you can see there, you know, how it picks up in the little cavities that is there. There is one that hasn't got a lot on, so let's just see if we can make them something there. Oh, I was going with the wrong one. Leave that. So the whole idea with the blackening is sort of to leave it more in the indents, because that is usually where the patina would take, and have the top more shiny. So that is the whole idea again for the blackening. So when you work with the actual patina on pewter, because you can't use the Jack Black patina on metal tape, nor on aluminum, you sort of can control it, but it also have a mind of its own, where with this you can definitely control it. And I've just noticed there is a spot here where the tape has gone completely off. So, oh, there you go, I have a piece there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work that in. And this is the nice thing about working with the metal tape. You know, when you see something like that, you can just, it's a quick fix. It's not like with pewter or aluminum or even copper for that matter that you have to think, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? This metal tape, it's really a quick fix. So there is a piece of the felt coming through, the felt lace, patch it, add some blackening. So I will also do the same on the back. I'm just not going to do it now because it's like watching paint dry. The same thing over and over again. But yeah, this is, and there you can see. Now it's all covered. Nobody would even know again that it is the felt that is in there. I went through my scrapbooking papers and just to see what I have that I can put on the inside here just to cover up this. And of course I didn't have enough of the ones that I wanted to use. So I've just decided, well, in that case I'm just taking 2 different ones. And now I'm using the wrong pen. So I'm coming in with my solvent base pen, and again I'm just adding some black here so that the craft color doesn't come through when I going to adhere that. And I do the same on the back. Is it necessary to do this? No, it is absolutely your choice, and for that matter you don't even have to add some scrapbooking paper here. If you want, you can just use some of the metal tape and you can cover this whole area with metal tape as well. That is a nice thing, you know, we are all so different. We can all do exactly the same project, but yet it can be different for each and every one of us. I'm just using one of my stamp pads, and I'm just going to go around the edges here just to take that white cutting marks away and to neaten it. You can of course go in with one of your blended tools as well if you want to, but because I don't want to go onto the paper itself, although you might see with the white. I'm just using the stamp pad as is. And again, it's not necessary to do that, but you know, it's just about the details, the finishing off, how you're finishing off a project. Maybe nobody is even going to notice this, but still, I think my cutter blade is sort of on its last as well. Okay, so next we're just going to glue this up, and then we are going to stick it down, and then we will be done. So just add some glue. I always like to add glue right on the tippy or the corners so that they don't lift, because usually when something lifts, it will be the corners. Let's go 1 or twice through like that, and just space it more or less evenly. You can go in with a ruler and measure it as well, but it just looks a little bit more rounded off when you do add this paper. And again, if you cover this with metal tape on the inside, it will have exactly the same effect. But look there, you know, compare this to the back, it's definitely makes a difference. Okay, so I'm just going to add the last one and then we can wrap this up. One thing you have to remember to do as well is just go over your corners with your stylus just to make sure that there's no sharp edges. I won't say you will cut yourself, but you know, it can always get hooked onto, it can get hooked onto something. So just make sure that it's nice and smooth as well. Next step is I'm going to go and use this, the glass clear, and I'm just going to spray this or seal this. And the reason being is it is a marker. Will it come off? You know, after time, most probably not, because it is a water-based permanent marker, but I still prefer sealing my projects with the clear lacquer spray. Can't do it inside, just always make sure that you are outside in a well-ventilated area. We started off with a journal that was pretty colorful. Actually, it's not bad, but I wanted it for a gift for a friend of mine. So add some embellishments as well as the metal tape. And we also finished it off in the inside. You could have used a really bright color on the inside as well, but it's just always adding that extra little bit of touch. As I say, it's always in the details. So these kind of things, or working with metal tape, especially for these little notebooks, is a very handy gift when you need a gift for somebody and you don't really know exactly what to give them. Prepare it in advance, have a couple of them handy. Do one day, sit down one day and just do the embellishments on all of them, the layout, and maybe another day start doing all the metal tape on the back, and come in the next day or a couple of days after that and do all the metal tape in on the front, and then start going in with your paper stump. It's a project that you can do over a couple of times and then sort of just finish it off when you need one. But in the end, this is a nice little gift to give to somebody. It's personal. You can personalize it. You can add their names on it, exactly the same as what I've done with my granddaughters. So they won't argue about whose book is who. So a personalized gift, and that's all. Again, thank you so much for spending time with me in the studio today. And always remember, the world of reality has its limits. The world of imagination is boundless.